Hey everybody, I am Wendy Strgar and welcome to my little home yoga studio, and this is my good friend Caitlin Young and my yoga teacher. And we are doing the last in a sequence of standing poses for sexual health. And this is kind of like all the things we've done so far will give you the strength to do these balance poses. And I was saying earlier, I can't remember exactly when, but you know, balance is the one thing actually that you can evolve throughout your whole life. You know, even when strength is harder, balance is still available to you. And it's so telling for all the other places in your life when you can't stand up on one foot. There's a lot to be learned from that. So we're going to do two poses, the classic tree
pose, and then we'll also do eagle pose.
Right, and we'll show you sequences, different ways we can do it. And maybe we'll have another appearance from our friend the kitty. It looks like she's coming in to join us.
So we'll start with tree pose. Hello.
All right, kitty, you go up here. You can watch from up there. Okay, so we're going to start with tree. And you're going to show, and then I'll do it.
Yeah, on one side. So we're going to start by rooting down through the left foot, and we can take the right foot either.
And again, you're using all four corners of your feet, like you have four little wheels under your, right? Inner, outer, front, back.
And that stacking of the bony landmarks. Right, so the knees on top of the ankles, all the way up. So a few variations. Heel to the inside edge of the ankle with the toes down. This is a great place to work if you're just beginning to work on your balance. Another place to go is below the knee, placing the foot just below the knee. And a few things that commonly happen here is that we put the weight onto the standing leg and this hip juts out to the side. Now this is being very dramatic here, but we want to try to keep recruiting the muscles on the outer edge of that standing hip so that we can build strength and keep the tone to the ligaments and muscles in the thigh. Third variation would be to place the foot above the knee. And wherever you go, there's some rapport. There's some pushing of the foot and the leg against each other. And not pushing, but just connection.
And especially when you're up here, you really want to watch your hip, right? Because that's real easy to kind of compensate with your hip, right?
Right,
and you're pulling in here to keep yourself from doing that.
So another thing to notice is the leg that's turned out and placed. This hip commonly hikes up. And that's going to shift the whole balance of the spine. So you want to think about elongating both sides of the waist.
And as one who very rarely gets this high, I just want to say that you're not necessarily more enlightened because you do get that high, right?
Not at all, not at all. The same principles apply wherever you are. So let's go through tree for you, Wendy, and we'll just talk about some
I'm probably not going to look that good, but I'm still getting the same benefits is the beautiful thing, right?
Absolutely. So we're going to find, feet in parallel.
And what about this, like, kind of midway?
So the knee...
So it's either up or down.
Above or below the knee joint, right? Because the knee endures enough challenge in daily life.
Okay, so I'm going to go below.
Okay, beautiful. And you may even want to go a little bit lower. Yeah. And then we're going to think about that standing hip, just drawing in, setting your drishti, setting your eye gaze to a focal point that's not moving. Noticing both hips shining toward the front. So that right hip may shift forward just a little bit. Yeah, beautiful. We're elongating both sides of the waist. We're sliding the shoulder blades down the back, and you're pressing the palms together to open up through the chest and the collarbones. Yes, and that just lifted your crown of your head. I don't know if you felt that, but that press through the palms changed the whole thing going on in your upper body.
And also, like, really focusing on my pelvic floor.
Yes.
Which I have to have in order to do this balance.
Yes. Beautiful. Great.
And you can come up here, right, if you're feeling really solid.
Right, and we'll always keep that little lift and openness in the chest and the heart.
And maybe you should say more about the drishti thing.
Yes, and then that's another piece that I wanted to talk about as it relates to
I'll do
yoga
this side.
For sexual health. Yeah, go ahead for the other side.
Why don't you explain that so I'll benefit from that?
So I'm noticing just a little alignment thing. Your right foot's turning out a little bit. So we want all 5 toes shining forward, and then you're going to zip up into the outer edge of the hip, navel to spine, pelvic floor lifts in and up, above or below the knee.
And so can I actually balance on this side?
Very common to have a different experience from one side to the other. That left hip drops down just a little bit. And the drishti, the eye gaze, the focus point, this is going to send calming messages to your nervous system. It's linking your mind and your body and your breath. And this principle of drishti really does apply nicely to sex and to orgasm. When we think about calming the mind, when we think about focusing our attention on our physical sensation, right? Isn't that kind of...
It's the very same. And, you know, all kinds of studies will tell you that if you're off thinking about how you can't balance, or off thinking about how you look bad in this light room, or whatever it is.
Or how you're never going to have an orgasm.
Oh, right, which is what a lot of people think about. Then that anxiety of whatever it is that you're anxious about is actually occupying the place in your brain that you need to release into orgasm. So actually practicing, and you could see how I was struggling on this side. So I can do a million things when I'm struggling. I can say bad things about myself. I can, you know, feel embarrassed with all the other yogis in the room or whatever it is. But can I just keep coming back to that quiet, you know, and just being with it, you know, and that's really a huge key to having the sex you want.
Yeah, to being with it and to being in the moment with your breath, with your body.
Yeah, so now we're going to make it even harder, even though I'm sort of struggling, but we're going to watch Caitlin.
So these have variations, right? Eagle pose. So we're going to start out with the arms extended and the knees bent. And we'll take the left leg and cross it over the right. So this will be a beginning variation with the toe down at the floor, and I call this the kickstand position, right? So you can hold yourself there. The inner thighs are drawing toward each other. The pelvic floor is lifting in and up. The heart's still lifting.
And what has to happen in order for this pose to get like where you're wrapping? Because I can't even do it, actually. So are you bending more deeply?
Nope.
No?
It's just practice and... inner thigh strength, hip flexibility, ankle flexibility. There's a lot of components. I think a big piece is believing you can do it.
Yeah, like everything.
Yeah. So then we'll take right arm under left. And some people prefer a hug position, particularly if the shoulders are tight. More advanced would be taking backs of the palms together. Full expression would be palms drawn together. So this would be the full eagle pose here. The elbows lifting up, the forearms drawing forward.
And you're like really thinking about this, opening here, right?
Opening the back door to the heart, exactly. And the core is working hard here. And an advanced core strengthening variation would be elbows draw down toward the knees and then lifting all the way up. And it's almost like a little crunch there. So
and she had such good balance that whole time. But you know, I probably am not going to get my leg all the way around, but so we'll
just start
try.
in mountain, right? Important to get all those corners lined up. Arms extended, bending both knees. And then let's take the left leg across the right. And you can start with the kickstand there. Good. Beautiful. Inner thighs zip up, pelvic floor lifts up. And there you go. Right elbow under left, palms drawing toward each other.
And this really is a lot of energy in your upper body.
Yes, absolutely. And so sometimes too much. Sometimes if it's too much for you, you can always take the hug and you still get that sense of expansion across the shoulders. Beautiful.
And I am using the kickstand, so I think that's good for them to see sort of the range. But really you're still, and even here you can kind of come down into this. But you know, you need so much focus on your, and then kind of unwinding.
And a little wiggle out. And should we just do the other side so we're balanced here? So we'll come back to that mountain, Tadasana. And then we'll bend the knees and extend the arms. And this time we'll take the right leg across. And in connecting to the inner thighs, connecting navel to spine, pelvic floor lifts in and up, shoulder blades soften.
This comes this way, right?
Yeah, so the heart's still lifting.
Right, and it's easy to actually come here, but actually you really want to be here, right?
Beautiful, and softening the back of the neck. Yes, beautiful, Wendy.
And then coming down.
Elbows to knee, and lifting up, and unwinding. A lot of work. So you can hold this up to 5 breaths. You can start with 1 breath and work up to 10 breaths. Fabulous way to really practice a moving meditation. So not only are you strengthening the muscles of your body, but you're also really training your mind.
Really training your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, there we go. That's the eagle. And, you know, find a little freedom in that and find some strength.
Mm-hmm.
And join us again next time for another series of upper body, right? Isn't that where we're headed? But this was the standing series. If you like this, tell your friends to like this channel and share it with somebody you love. And practice. Just practice. You'll get stronger and you'll get sexier. Okay? See you soon. Thanks.